Part 2. Day 2, tomorrow. Now, your daddy and this car both aren't as young as they used to be, so we don't want to push either one of them too hard. Dad looked shocked. So we rise and shine early in the morning and drive for 250 miles in about 5 or 6 hours. That should put us right outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. Mr. Johnson says that there are some clean, safe rest stops there, so we can spend the night in the car. If that's true, we'll stay there. If not, we'll have to see if we can find a motel room in Knoxville. Day 3, Monday. This is going to be a tough day for your daddy because he's going to have to drive for more than 6 hours. After we leave Knoxville, we've got about 300 miles to go. If we leave early enough, we'll be pulling into home about 3 in the afternoon. Mama turned the page in her notebook. We're going to be able to stop once a day on the way down for hamburgers and once a day on the day back. Me and Joey cheered again at this news. Byron acted like he didn't hear. Now, if we sleep in the car outside Knoxville, we can stop one more bonus time coming and going. Otherwise, the cooler in the trunk is full of chicken, soda pop, potato salad, sandwiches, and fruit for the whole trip down. I'm sure Grandma Sands will have everything set for the way back. I thought about it for a minute, then asked, Mama, how come we don't just drive until Dad gets tired, then stop? Dad did an imitation of a hillbilly accent. 'Cause, boy, this here is the deep south. You all is gonna be driving through. Y'all colored folks can't be just pulling up to any old way and be 'specting to get no room or no food. Ya hear, boy? I said, ya hear what I'm saying, boy? Me and Joey laughed again, and even Byron kind of smiled. This only encouraged Dad to say more Southern-style stuff. Y'all don't know that, boy. What was the matter with you? You think this here is America? Mama had everything planned about the trip. Everything. Where we'd eat, when we'd eat, who got bologna sandwiches on day 1, who got tuna fish on day 2, who got peanut butter and jelly on day 3. She'd figure out how long we could hold ourselves between going to the bathroom, how much money we'd spend on hamburgers, how much was for any emergencies, everything. She figured out who'd get the cars on who'd get the windows on each day, who was responsible for keeping paper and junk from piling up in the car. When she finished reading all the stuff to us, I asked her if I could look at the notebook. She handed it to me, and I saw written on the cover in big black letters, "The Watsons go to Birmingham, 1963. She'd even drawn a picture of a flower with a big, fat, stupid bird trying to land on it. Man, Mama sure is a bad artist. Why is there a bird trying to land on a flower, Mama? Dad cracked up. Ooh, Kenneth, I asked her the same thing, and she was highly offended. Mama said, That's a bee, not a bird. I guess if you squint your eyes up, and it might look like a bee, but not too much. Mom had also gone to the library to look up stuff about every state we'd travel through. We heard a bunch of boring junk about the expressway, how many years it took to finish it, how many miles long it was, how much it cost to build it, how it ran all the way from the Upper Peninsula in Michigan to Florida, all kinds of thrilling news. The only thing that was a little bit interesting was how many people got killed and hurt making the road. You never would think putting an expressway down was so dangerous. She'd bought books and puzzles and games, too. She really did try to make the trip interesting. The most interesting part for me, though, was going to be Byron. 2 days before we'd left, Bubhead came to visit Byron. The three of us were in my and By's bedroom. They tried to bully me out of the room, but I stayed. They were sitting in the upper bunk, and I was in the lower one. Man, Bubhead complained, I couldn't live with your old man. We'd be coming to blows daily, Jack. What can I say? Byron answered. Not much. I can't believe they gonna make you spend the whole blank summer in hot old Alabama. Shoot, I'd find somewhere else to stay. You gonna be black as the ace of spades when you get back. And they got some sure enough sun down there. Yeah, but dig, I got a way to pay them jive old squares back. Yeah? What you gonna do? I ain't even sure I'm gonna go, but if I do, I know how they is. They gonna try some of that Ozzie and Harriet TV show mess on the way down. You know, playing games and counting cows and guessing how many red cars we gonna see in the next 2 miles and all that kind of 369. But I'm ready for them. Yeah? Yeah, I got something that'll mess that junk up for all of them. What's that, Daddy-O? Byron remembered I was still in the lower bunk and stuck his head over the edge, then pointed at me. You say one word about this to anyone, and I'm gonna jack your little lightweight behind up, you hear? I said, Aw, man. By disappeared back into the top bunk. Yeah, Bubhead, if I do go, I'm gonna go the whole blank trip. And no matter what they do to me, I ain't gonna say one single word. Whoa, how long that trip gonna take? 3 days? Cool, that'll show 'em. They slapped palms and Bi said, Yeah, you know it will. But as soon as we got to Detroit, Byron said, How we gonna work this record player? Dad looked in the rear mirror and said to Bi, What do you mean? We gonna take turns? Well, Byron, I don't think we'll be playing it for quite a bit. We can carry CKLW all the way down into Ohio and then play some pretty good music. But when we do play it, we gonna take turns? Sure. Cool. Am I first? Sure. We'll go by seniority. Dad was in the United Auto Workers at work, so seniority was real important at our house. Cool. I couldn't help myself. I leaned over Joey and said kind of quiet to Bi, I guess you really showed them, didn't you? Boy, they were really begging you to talk, weren't they, Daddy-O? Byron made sure Joey wasn't watching, then flipped me a dirty finger sign and made his eyes go cross. On the left side, kids, is Tiger Stadium. Mama was pointing out all the important things we passed on the way. As payback for giving me the dirty finger, I said out loud to Bi, How many cows you counted, Bi? How many red cars so far? He gave me his famous death stare, then leaned over Joey and whispered, No cars, no cows, but I counted your mama 6 times already. I couldn't believe it. What kind of person would talk about their own mama? I said, That's your mother too, stupid. I knew he didn't care though, but I had to get him back, so I called him the only thing that bothered him. I said, You might have counted my mama 6 times, but have you counted your mouth lately, lipless wonder? I got him. He showed his teeth and said, You little, and tried to grab me. Dad's eye was in the rear view mirror. All right, you two. I said no nonsense, and I don't mean maybe. Byron used silent mouth language to say, I'm gonna jack you up in Alabama, you punk. So as we drove down I-75, headed for Birmingham, I felt pretty good, even though every time I looked at Bi, his eyes were crossed. I didn't care, because this was one time I bugged him more than he bugged me.